I'm going to dive, and then I'm going to pitch upwards. And I'd like you to see the difference in when my camera starts moving, which is when I move my mouse to pitch upwards, and when the dragon actually responds and pitches upwards. Because it's far, far, far too long a response time. I'm pitching up, and like there's like a second almost between moving the mouse and the dragon actually responding, which looks terrible. And also, it's just like incredibly unrealistic. It's a bit dumb. It doesn't make much sense, really. It's to make it feel more weighty, but it's actually just makes it much more annoying and less responsive. Do you think it's because you're in the first zone, so you have less control? No, I don't think so, no. I think they specifically said in the blue that they were changing the weightiness this patch, which, I don't know, I think is a massive mistake. I think it does not feel as good now as it did. Simple as that. Yeah, this is not... No, I'm annoyed because they took something which was perfect and they've spoiled it. I feel like I need to show you my hands. Alright, now look at the difference between when I move my mouse and when the dragon actually turns. So I move, the camera moves, and then the dragon follows like half a second later. And it's fucking horrible. I hate it with a passion. And it's not so bad, honestly, but I hate it because it's such a fucking ruin of what was there before. It's an issue of playability versus realism. Yeah, I completely agree. But it didn't feel unrealistic in the first build, though. So, like, they've added realism for no reason. And yeah, it's clearly not something you level up or unlock. I'm sorry to be, like, really harsh on this, but I'm just angry. Because the first iteration of dragon riding came out, and everyone was like, this is fucking awesome. So why do this? We literally said it was awesome and perfect. Why do this? Maybe you need to get used to it. Yeah, I'll absolutely get used to it, but that doesn't mean it's still not worse than it was. The camera going underneath the dragon is a symptom of the problem. The camera going under the dragon isn't the problem. It's just showing you how, like, much gap there is in between moving the mouse and the dragon actually moving. So, like, yeah, the camera going under the dragon sucks, but it's not actually the problem. The problem is that the dragon is taking far too long to respond. What I've lost in fun in this iteration, I've gained nothing in terms of immersion or, like, realism. I don't know, it doesn't feel any more realistic or immersive to me. But it feels less fun, for sure. I haven't gained any immersion or any realism, in my opinion. It's only my opinion, though. I'm sure other people feel differently. It's not the turn... That's Bruce, you've got it. The turn angle is wider, and that's fine. But the responsiveness and the gap between the button press and the responsiveness feels horrible. FromSoft games feel good because when you take a weapon swing, they take a long time to swing. Okay, and that feels weighty, and that feels meaningful, and it feels realistic. But they start to swing from the second you press the button. Like, the swing starts instantly when you press the button. It just takes a while to complete it. Imagine if you pressed the button, and the swing didn't even start for half a second. That would feel horrible, and that's what's happening with dragon riding. I'm okay with the swing taking a while and feeling weighty and meaningful, but that swing has to fucking start when I press the button. Does that make sense? I think I've actually explained that really fucking well. I'm actually quite proud of myself. The best bit about dragon flying isn't even flying big distances. It's going, oh, I need to be over here. Let's go up. And let's, like, land. Oh my god, it feels horrible. I hate it. It's going those kind of distances when you're questing. And then you kill a thing, zap, zap, zap. And then you go to the next thing. And that thing's over here. And you go, yeah, here we go. That kind of change in responsiveness is incredibly damaging over short distances where you need a tight turning circle. This is a small change, but it really, really spoils something. It felt realistic. It didn't feel bad. It felt like I wasn't like, well, this is fun, but unrealistic. No, it was perfect. I have no idea why they're doing this. Well, I do. They're just trying something new, and that's great. I mean, look, it's still great, but it's not as responsive as it was, and that just annoys me. Here's the thing, right? You log into this alpha right now, if you haven't played it before, you get your dragon, and you're going to be like, that's great, that feels really good. My god, that's so much better than how flying felt before. Wow, this really adds something to the game. This is great. But I'm just sad because it does not feel as good as it did. It was perfect. It felt beautiful. I'm afraid of my dragon getting faster than this because the turning circle is so bad. It's going to cause me so much shit. So it's still good, but as someone who is really in love with the first iteration of it, like genuinely loved it, this feels bad. It wasn't instant in the first iteration, but it felt incredibly responsive. Like clearly the response time has been slowed down to make it feel more weighty. And for me, it's far, far too much. Obviously, the intention is to make it more immersive, for sure. But it fails. It's less immersive because it's just really fucking annoying. They come up with something accidentally wonderful, but make it shit. Well, no, let's reserve our judgment. I mean, you know, this is an alpha build, so it's fair to pick up on the fact that it's not as good as it was, in my opinion. Other people might completely disagree with me, don't forget. It still feels like 100 times better than normal flying, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they should have it be instantaneous, like some kind of lag to make it feel weighty is perfectly reasonable, but it's too much right now. Yeah, it's got to be adjusted, but and I have no doubt it will be, let's be fair. But I got annoyed because for me the original iteration was perfect, and I would just rather they hadn't touched it, honestly. It is much easier testing people's reaction by giving them strong opposite feels than repeatedly making tiny changes. Good shout. No, absolutely, absolutely. And they made a big feeling change, and they got a big reaction from me. Yeah, an overcorrection, and quite likely a purposeful overcorrection to gauge what people's feelings about it are, you know? And you know, even if it were to go live like this, which I don't think it will not be the end of the world.